Welcome to Good Vibes, a Bharat Media original.
Good evening, hello, Sat Sri Akal and Vanakkam. I am Saraswathi Chandra and we welcome you all to the Good Vibes series, a Bharat Media original. Today I will be talking about a wonderful topic, silence is bliss, and how does silence help us to make our life happy and strengthen our relationships and interactions, which are very important in our lives. You are watching Good Vibes, a Bharat Media original series. There is a quote, we need to find God and He cannot be found in noise and restlessness. God is the friend of silence. See how nature, trees, flowers, grass, they all grow in silence. See the stars, the moon and the sun, how they move in silence. So we need silence to be able to touch souls. Silence is a source of great strength. Literally speaking, the word silence comes from a Latin word silent, meaning to be still, quiet or at rest. Silence is the condition or a quality of being or keeping still and silent, and the absence of sounds, stillness, or as a period of time without speech or noise. Now I would like to tell a story, and I'm sure all of you love stories. This is a story about an old farmer. He was 75 years old and he lived happily, had a very beautiful family. Then the children grew up and they moved to different cities, and he lived in a small village, remembering his wife who is no more with him. Family comprised of his son, daughter-in-law and the 4 grandchildren. They all were visiting him during holidays. So it was a vacation time, and his name was Janardhan, and he was eagerly waiting for the arrival of the grandchildren. He was preparing the home for the kids, cleaning the home and making the garden very beautiful by mowing the lawn and rearranging the household items, buying their favorite food items, dresses for the children, and he was busy with all these arrangements, and in the process he lost his favorite watch, which was gifted to him by his wife some time back before she died, on one of his birthdays. Janardhan loved that watch so much, and it was the sole companion for him after the death of his wife. But in the process of getting things done for the children to be received and welcomed, he had forgotten that, and the children arrived, and he suddenly remembered one morning that the watch is missing and he has to look for it. So he went to the storehouse where he used to have all these things which are not required regularly, and it was like a dump yard where things were just put. So he tried, because he remembered that was the place where he last remembered to have worn the watch. He looked for it everywhere, he couldn't find, and he felt very sad about it. So the grandchildren asked him, "Grandpa, why are you looking so sad?" So he said, "Children, I lost my most precious watch given to me by your grandmother, and I lost it while cleaning the home, and I'm very sad about it." He was almost in tears, and the children wanted to help him and make him happy. So they said, "Grandpa, do you remember where you saw the watch last before it was missing?" So he said it was in the store. So the children decided to search in the store, and all of them went there and tried to see it, because it was filled with waste materials, books, scraps, broken furniture and all. They searched for about 2 hours and nothing could be seen there. So they said to the grandpa that, "Sorry, Grandpa, we couldn't locate it." They also felt sad, consoled the grandpa. But one grandson told the grandpa, "Grandpa, I want to search once more." So grandpa said, "All of you were seeing it, and for 2 hours you wasted your time." But he said, "No, Grandpa, I want all by myself go there and look for it." So when everybody was surprised and looking at him, he went into that room, closed the door, sat there in silence. He sat there for about good 15 minutes. And suddenly, after some time, he rushed to the grandfather. "Grandfather, here it is, this is the watch," and happily gave the watch to the grandfather. He was surprised and asked, "How did you see it?" So that little boy said, "I sat there without making any noise, and it was complete silence. After a few minutes, I heard a tick-tick sound, and I was again listening from where the sound was coming, and when I went there, I found this watch." So the grandfather, Mr. Janardhanan, hugged the boy and thanked the little boy. So this is the power of silence. If we stay calm, we get the solution for all our problems easily. So my dear friends, a peaceful mind can think better, then it can work also better. So once in a while, all of you remember that allow a few minutes of silence. Sit in absolute silence and relax and listen. Just be still and listen. You are watching Good Vibes, a Bharat Media original series. Now, silence is not enjoyed by everyone. There are people who dislike a silent environment because they feel that I am alone, I am lonely, it is boring, and look forward to spend time with their thoughts or go here, there, meet people and noisy area. But there are people who just want to seek silence with eagerness and feel very happy to be by themselves in that silence. Indeed, silence offers profound benefits, many of which we are not even aware of. Silence is good for overall physical health and well-being. Besides giving our ears a break, silence has shown to offer significant health advantages that boost overall well-being. From a physiological standpoint, silence helps in many ways. Do you know it lowers our blood pressure, which can help prevent heart attack, boost the body's immunity system, it benefits the brain, helps in learning, remembering, and balancing our emotions. It decreases our stress, balance our hormones. In fact, 2 minutes of silence release all our tension, and we are relieved of the stress in the body and the brain, and the mind relaxes much better. It promotes good hormone regulations, prevents blockages in the arteries, and silence also promotes psychological and emotional benefits. So with all these benefits, when you know, we must spend few minutes in silence every day, which will rejuvenate you and revitalize you. Now let us see one more story. Once Lord Buddha was sitting with his disciples and preaching to them. He told the disciples, anger is the greatest enemy of everyone. All of us get angry very easily, so that we should remember that anger is our enemy. Now he says further, a person who is angry not only hurts himself but also harms others, because he burns in the fire of vengeance and ruins his life. So it will affect the others in the family also. After the preaching was over, one disciple stood up and told him, your words are contrary to the ways of life of men. Nobody can follow this, even you. And then how can you tell everybody to do it? And he was so angry that the words were like piercing. But Buddha did not react. He was sitting in silence. So when he saw that there is no reaction coming from Buddha, he got more angry and he spit on the face of Lord Buddha. Even after that, Lord Buddha was calm and silent as he wiped the spit from his face and sat quietly. Seeing all these, the disciple did not understand what to do. So enraged, he left the place and went to his house. By the time he reached his home, his mind had calmed down, and at the end, he realized that he had made a big mistake. He has sinned. He began to say to himself, what have I done? I have insulted the Mahatma. How can I commit such a sin? I made a big mistake. I have to go and ask for forgiveness. So saying this, he immediately went to Lord Buddha, but he was not there. So he wandered from place to place and he looked for him and he found him. And as soon as he found him, he fell at Buddha's feet and started saying, please forgive me. I have made a mistake. I have insulted you. I have committed a great sin. Seeing all this, Buddha said, calm down. Tell me what is the matter. Who are you? When Lord Buddha asked him this, the disciple was shocked. He started thinking how Lord Buddha could forget him because he had insulted him. Thinking this, he asked Buddha, and I am the same disciple who insulted you yesterday and you forgot me so soon. So Buddha says we should leave the things of yesterday, whether it is good or bad. We should not think about it again and again. I leave the past always and go forward. So also all of you should, Buddha said to that disciple. The disciple was even more impressed after hearing this. And he said, I will obey everything that you say from today. So how silence of Buddha brought a change in that disciple who was filled with anger and venom. So silence helps in every area of our life. It increases our creative energy. So creativity is increased. It means to bring the new into being and helps us to lift the heart and heal the soul. And creativity needs silence, quiet environment so that the talent can be developed. You have to think deeper. So creativity is possible with silence. Inspiration always comes in silent environment. Imagination also springs from silence, and ideas for going in a different direction open up. Awareness of self and environment also increases. Once you are comfortable in your silence, you will notice that your abilities are more and you become more aware of it. Silence promotes the inner power and builds trust. So our egos get switched off and we see the real world as is. Where there is silence, there is time for introspection and to know our true self. Silence helps us to reflect. Silence enables us to listen to our inner voice and find our unique qualities, to know us, understand us. It helps us to find our values and also recognize our strength and acknowledge our limitations so that we can strengthen our strength and weaken our weaknesses, as our capabilities are much more than our limitations. After meditating in silence, we get motivated and life becomes more easier when it comes to challenging areas, and we adapt a healthier lifestyle. Everything is made up of prana, energy. No one exists in a vacuum. In silence, we are able to recognize this vibration of the prana. So, the sensitivity of the life force is recognized in silence. Now, we should know how do we enter into silence. It is not as difficult as many of us think. Anyone can begin to cultivate silence to help benefit overall health and well-being. Nature is our best friend, so a morning walk in the garden helps, and a walk alone in silence to get more in tune with the nature and enjoy and be aware. Always be grateful for all the blessings and say a silent prayer of gratitude for all that we have and ask for the blessings for the day ahead. Chronic breathing and deep breathing exercises help to calm our mind and take us to the stillness and into silence. Meditation through creative visualization or a guided meditation practice can help in the habit of silently witnessing our thoughts, and be a witness, and the thoughts will become lesser and lesser, and then you enter into dhyana fully. Now, the silence is more than the state of being silent. It is the entire absence of a noise or a sound or absolute stillness. It enhances concentration, promotes easy entering into meditation, and allows us to be in touch with our inner self. In other words, silence has the power to make the people think and act wisely. There were 4 monks. They used to practice meditation. They vowed to each other to observe silence for 7 days. The first day passed well, but as the evening progressed, the oil lamp which they had in front became dim, and one monk couldn't help himself and shouted, "Attend to the lamps." He was very impatient and called out to the assistant. Now his friend, another monk, turned to him and was surprised that he talked. So he says, "You are not supposed to speak. Have you forgotten?" Now the third monk came up and said, "You fools, why are you talking?" So the fourth monk says, "Ha ha ha, I am the only one who kept silent," exclaimed the last monk. Now if you reflect on this story, each monk broke the silence for different reasons. So each of which is a common obstacle to a meditation. The first monk became distracted by the lamp, so he lost sight of the rest. The second monk was more worried about the rules than the meditation itself. The third monk let his anger rule him, and the final monk was lost in his ego. So we should all remember that before judging others, pause for a moment and ask, how perfect am I? So silence is bliss. You are watching Good Vibes, a Bharat Media original series. Now in today's world, the importance of silence is great because it is a world filled with restlessness, noise, pollution, and we are all busy in the rat race and have become a constant victim of all types of pollution and noises. But it is seen that people who are working in a quiet office are much more relaxed and less stressed. Workers from the quiet office sleep better at night, have better digestion, and are much less irritable at home and feel better at the end of their workday than employees from the open areas and offices with lot of noises. Silence gives rest, so we should devote a considerable period of time for silence in order to give ourselves a deep rest. The rate of breathing slows down, our heart rate drops, we forget about the past and future, and we live in the present, which is like recharging our batteries. Silence allows us to listen better and we understand others better. When others speak, silence could be used as a sort of politeness and respect that would make the communication successful. The inner silence is also very important, since it gives us the chance to listen to our inner voices. It helps us to turn our thoughts and focuses inward and live the present moment. The inner silence enables us to eliminate all mental noises. Thus, our minds become calmer. Consequently, we can work and study more efficiently, and our productivity will increase. By developing the virtue of inner silence, we should be able to tolerate others. You are watching Good Vibes, a Bharat Media original series. Let us have one more story, and I am sure all of you are enjoying the stories. There was a very big banyan tree in the forest, in which many parrots were living, and they used to talk the whole day till night. They also had a king parrot who was the greatest talker. Apart from these parrots, there was one parrot by name Mittu, and this parrot rarely talked. He was silent most of the time. Seeing Mittu parrot, all other parrots kept thinking, how can he live so quietly? So the other parrots started teasing him. One day, two parrots were talking together. One of them said, friend, one day during the summer, I found a mango that was very sweet, and no mango on earth can be so good as that. And I had eaten all day with great fun. So hearing this, the second parrot said, oh, yes, I had also found a mango that was very, very tasty, which I also ate whole day and had fun. When both of them were talking about this, all the parrots around them were listening, and this thing spread among everyone. All the parrots started discussing the mangoes, but Mittu was absolutely quiet and said nothing. Seeing him so calm, the king parrot told him, how can you be so calm? We all talk all day long, but you keep quiet. You are a fake parrot. When the king said this, all other parrots of the tree used to tease him by calling him fake parrot. Now a few days later, there was a king. The king's wife's necklace was stolen. In such a situation, the king's wife went to the husband. All in the parrot family we are talking about. Please remember, she told the king parrot, her husband, my necklace is stolen. I have seen the thief, and the thief had a bandage on his face, but his beak was out and it was red in color. So in that situation, the king called for a meeting and all the parrots came. The king told everyone that the theft of the necklace, and he told that the beak of the robber was red. So the all parrots said, there are only two parrots in our group who have red beak. One is Mittu and other is Shyam parrot. So you call both of them and find out. So the king called his friend Crow and told him the whole thing. So after knowing everything, the crow began questioning. First, Shyam parrot, he asked, where were you when the robbery took place? So Shyam parrot said loudly, I had slept after dinner. Can you provide any proof that you were sleeping that night? He said yes, again in a very louder voice, raised his voice. Everyone knows that I was sleeping at that time. Now it was the turn of Mittu parrot, whom everybody was calling fake parrot. The crow asked, where were you last night when the necklace was lost? Mittu parrot politely and softly said, I was sleeping last night. After listening to both the parrots, the crow told that the thief is Shyam parrot. So the king asked, how can you say Shyam is the thief? So the crow said, I heard both of them. Shyam parrot was speaking with a loud voice, and the Mittu parrot was speaking with a very polite, soft voice. The one who is telling lie to prove the truth was using a louder voice, and Shyam tried to do that. That is why Shyam is the thief. Hearing this, Shyam started apologizing to the parrot king because he said, I accept my theft, and he knows that he is caught, so he wanted the king to forgive him and not punish. But the king thought of punishing Shyam parrot. Immediately, Mittu Parrot told the king, Shyam is apologizing for his mistake, king. Please give him pardon and forgive him for his mistake. So the king listened to Mittu Parrot and forgave Shyam Parrot. Now, what is the moral of the story? The story teaches us that we should not talk unnecessarily. By talking more, we lose our importance in front of others. So silence is bliss. You know we can communicate in silence. Silence as a technique of communication is very effective. To get a better conversation, one must use brief pauses to give the other person a chance to think and get better understanding of the topic and then respond effective. In an interview, a good interviewer uses silence while listening to what the interviewee is saying. Also, a candidate also can use silence to demonstrate critical thinking skills and an ability to remain poised in difficult situations. So use brief pauses when you need to collect your thought, recall the information the interviewer requested, and a silent pause will help you. So also, if the interviewer asks several questions in rapid succession, before you have had a chance to answer, repeat the first question and answer it. Then request the interviewer to ask subsequent questions. It will help you with these pauses. Always avoid giving any unwanted information where it is not required. So, remain mentally alert during that silence. Silence is also a kind of respect we show. Silence could be used to show respect. It has long been recognized by many religious groups as a key component of a monk in the path of spirituality. Moreover, silence has become a universal practice used in all over the world, as we used to hold 1 minute of silence to remember people who died in a natural disaster or an important person on his or her death anniversary. Silence is bliss. Silence creates space. Silence can promote introspection, as we have already seen, and help us to find meaning of life's connections in everyday life. And even during the conversation, silence may be used to express admiration and esteem. Silence can improve your cognitive function. This gives the mind a chance to relax and nourish its cognitive resources. It is able to perform much better, and silence can aid in relaxation. When your body and mind get the chance to be away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life and relish a few moments of silence, it can help you to heal and relax totally. Once upon a time, Lord Buddha was on a journey with his disciples. While walking on the journey, Buddha felt thirsty, so he asked one of the disciples to go and fetch some drinking water. Now, when the disciple looked around, no source of water was found. However, he tried little more and found a lake nearby. We went there and saw some people were washing clothes in the lake, and suddenly a bullock cart passed over the lake, and in that situation the water became so dirty and muddy. Then the disciple thought, how can I give this dirty water to Lord Buddha? So he went back empty-handed and went to Lord Buddha and told him everything. Buddha said, okay, don't worry. We will sit here for some time and relax in the shade of this big tree, because there was a big tree. After some time, Lord Buddha asked the same disciple to bring water again. Now the disciple went back to the same lake, and now when he went there, he saw the water was absolutely clean and clear. So he took the water in that pot and gave it to Lord Buddha. So Buddha told everyone that the way the mud and the dust which was in the water became clear and clean water came up while leaving it for a while, so also our mind, when disturbed, it is filled with all types of negative energy and toxins. So give a time to it to calm down the mind, and our brain will also become calm. And after a short time, you will find that all the restlessness is gone and you are absolutely relaxed. So silence brings that calmness. No decision can be taken with a restless mind. All we have to do is to keep calm and silent for a while so that we can make good decisions. So the moral of the story, decision taken from a restless mind will always be wrong because thinking gets distorted. So make the decision with a calm mind, which reduces the chances of making mistakes. Silence is bliss. I am sure all of you enjoyed and understood what is silence and why is it important. And this is under the series Good Vibes, a Bharat Media original. Stay tuned. We'll be here again next week with our series on good vibes with yet another interesting topic, Hanuman, and what lessons we learn from Lord Hanuman. God bless you all. Thank you.
Good Vibes, a Bharat Media original.